This is Rick Baucom. I recently spent some time with Rich Hand in his studio in Colorado Springs, Colorado. We discussed his new book, My Life Ignored. Why did you write a book?
That's a great question, Rick. I wrote My Life Ignored because I really wanted to just get people to think about their life. By writing about the things that I've done in my life, I think when people read it, they can relate to it and think about, what have I done in my life that's been important or has been interesting? So, by putting it down in a book, people, I think more about it. I wanted to motivate people to get engaged with their life.
Why did you choose the title, My Life Ignored?
That's a great question, Rick. When I was working in my publishing empire, when I was sending out my newsletters to folks, I received some feedback from somebody on the list, and they said, "Hey, Rich, how come you do the blog, you send a newsletter out, you have these CDs out there, how come you keep doing that when nobody's paying attention?" And I had to think to myself, wow, that's a pretty tough question. And it was a great question, and what it made me think about was, why am I doing it? And I do it because I'm passionate about it, and if I wasn't doing it, I wouldn't be fulfilling the things in my life that are important outside of the family and of course making a living and all those things. But it was here I am doing all this stuff and everybody's ignoring me, and I said, what a great concept for a book. So My Life Ignored. And really, when you read the book, you realize you're never being ignored. Your family and friends are always watching you, colleagues, things like that. So what you do does make a difference, and if you do it with passion, you encourage other people's passions.
You talk about a new definition of famous. What do you mean by that?
Well, in my book, Rick, I have a couple of premises, and one of them is that I believe at one time in everybody's life, they want to be famous. And many people think of it in the traditional sense. But what I've done in the book is I've redefined famous. And I'm just going to read a quick quote here from the book. This is my definition of famous. Recognition for making a positive impact during your time here on this earth, having the guts to follow your dreams whether or not anyone else notices, to choose a path because it fills your spirit, to waste no time on excuses, and to be the ultimate role model. So the new definition of famous is really about living your life ignored, but with your family watching you, your kids watching you, if you're doing positive things, if you're doing things that drive your passions, people can't help but see that, and you become famous in your own way. You leave behind a legacy for the people that really matter in your life, not where you're a Tom Cruise or a Britney Spears, but you're a strong role model for the community, for the family, for your family, and for people that are important to you.
Rich, who are your greatest influences?
That's a great question, Rick. And as most people that are watching this will attest to, your family, your parents, most people see their parents, the role model that they create as you're growing up. And I tell some stories in the book when I'm growing up about hanging out with my dad on the bus. My dad was a bus driver for the city of New York, and he used to take me when I was a little kid. And I couldn't believe how famous he was with the people coming onto the bus. He knew everybody's name. Everybody loved him, and it was because he had respect for people. And I tell a number of stories about those types of incidents where I'm just watching my dad, and I'm watching how people react to my dad, and I'm like, I want to be like my dad. So, my dad was a great influence. My mom, she started a camp for the handicapped, and I used to work for her. And just seeing her dedication to those kids that were outcasts really set an example in my life to say, everybody's important. So, those are the two greatest influences. And then I have so many other family members that I wasn't able to get in the book, but all my uncles, they've been great role models to me. Family gatherings, I learned how to be a gentleman. I learned how to converse. I learned how to debate. I learned the proper way to interact with people. So the people that influenced me the most were definitely my family. I think that's true for almost everybody, even though everybody says that these movie stars have so much influence on people. It's really us that have the influence on the people around us. Those people that are traditionally famous, yeah, you know, their life, it looks envious. You say to yourself, oh, I'd love to be like that, but really, when you dig deeper, they're just like us, and we truly are famous to the people that are most important around us.